Let's see if this works. Hopefully it will. Okay. We should be live, I hope. Okay. Now I just need to get some people on to see if they can hear you as well. um,
Hang on.
can you try speaking? I'll try to hear it on the.
So how was your day, bro? Like, was it good, bad,
Can you try?
not so good, not so bad? So how was your day? Oh my fucking
Yeah, I feel like it's easy to perceive. Like you're not as loud on the stream as you are on my computer, but whatever, doesn't matter. Anyway, for everyone that is joining right now, I hope you guys can hear us. My name is Starke, as you guys probably know, and with me today I have Sonyian, which I agreed to let him interview me and ask a few questions regarding the studios and our games, and also to ask me some questions that he gathered from our fans along the past few days. So yeah. Sonia, do you want to introduce yourself to the people at home?
Oh, thank you so much. Hi, I'm Sonyian. I'm just an average H-game enjoyer, and have been blessed with the opportunity to interview Stark. That's really all I got to say.
That's a little strong, but yeah. It's been a while since I've done an interview. So if there's a way that I can bridge bridge the gap that there is between us and our fans, our the players, our viewership, I'm always in favor for that. So yeah. So before we start, I just want to say I don't know what questions are coming my way. You gave me kind of a list of a few questions. I did not read it. I don't care. Nothing is off limits, and obviously if there is something that I consider like personal, or if there is something that I consider like release dates, which we established this year that we will stop giving release dates for things after like 8 years of development. I mean, people are free to ask. We're also just free to not reply to some stuff.
Right.
But other than that, you go ahead and you know.
All right, man. Well, let's get right into it. So, first off, I just want to ask, Fleeting Iris, what inspired you to create Fleeting Iris, sort of, and what was the backstory behind it, the concept of it, basically, is what I want to ask.
So, my inspiration about making Fleeting Iris specifically, or just my inspiration to make hentai games?
Actually, yeah. Let's actually take a step back. And what inspired you to create Heaven Studios to pursue this career of making hentai games?
Oh, okay. So I'm gonna try to make a long story short, but basically a long time ago, like close to 13 years ago, I think, a friend of mine needed someone to make some code for his game. Basically, I agreed to do it for free. I was like, sure, dude, I'll help you with your game, and basically introduced me to the world of RPG Maker and hentai games. I was neither versed on I wasn't very versed on the Eastern culture. I didn't know much about anime other than watching it. I didn't even know it was called anime. It was cartoon for me. Like everything was cartoon. I didn't know Dragon Ball was anime. I didn't know Saint Seiya was anime, and I had no idea hentai was a thing. Um, so when he showed me his game, I got intrigued. I joined the community at the time, which was ULMF. It still exists, but it's not as active as it was back in the day. Um, and the problem is, like, after a while, I realized that the community was pretty much horrible, as most free admission forums are. Because people in general in those type of environments, they don't fear any repercussions, and because they're anonymous, and ultimately the administration was very unprofessional. So basically, mentioned F95, but even worse. So I and the few other members that I created some sort of a relationship in the community, uh, which were the more, in my opinion, the more reasonable ones, and decided to make a community of our own. And when we made that community, we spent a lot of time making guides for other games, playing those games, discussing those games, and eventually we started making mods and translations and whatnot. And we were improving other people's games until I got to a point where I realized, if I can grab other people's games and I'm constantly trying to do it better, and if I'm constantly criticizing other people's games, why don't I just put the money where my mouth is and I actually make my own game? And that's kind of where it started. We made our community around it, and eventually we realized, why don't we make our own game? So between that and doing Fleeting Iris and deciding to make like a world where there's 4 games going on at the same time, and where the characters cameo within the games and whatnot, it was an amalgamation of many things. Like, I wanted to make games on a few different genres. But I also wanted them to be connected in some way. So at the time, I really liked NTR because of the moral degeneration and corruption elements that comes with it. I liked Hero Corruptions, Corrupting Towns, and Zombie Survivals, and all those games. And I decided, what if I make all those games and I connect them somehow, and I come up with a rich story that will connect them, and they will become kind of like consequences of each other. It was just basically just a melting pot of ideas, and eventually I just started presenting the ideas to friends. Some of the more supportive ones were like, "Yeah, I believe you. You can do this," and the vast majority was like, "You're fucking insane. It's never gonna work." Which to some listen. To some degree, I'm going to agree with them, even though it's done. It was probably not the best thing that we could or should have done with such a small team at the time. And for Fleeting Iris, especially knowing that it was our first project and it was like our learning process project, definitely we probably shouldn't have tried to be as ambitious. But in my defense, if we weren't ambitious then, when we were young and hungry and super passionate about doing things, it's not after we had like 2 or 3 games in the bag that we will go like, you know what we could do now? A game that is like 10 times more effort than all the games that we have done so far. It would have never happened. So, in terms of games, I think my biggest influences at the time were like Virgin Island, anything like by Scale Gardens and whatnot. But at the time, there wasn't that many games. We started a really, really long time ago, so we were kind of pioneers. So there's not a lot of influences, but there's definitely games through the development process of Fleeting Iris, and not just games, but stories, movies. Once you start developing like an hentai mindset, you start seeing hentai everywhere. So, after that moment, everything was some sort of like influence to me from that point on.
Okay. Yeah. I know we had this discussion last time we really spoke, but like you said, back then there wasn't really anything as ambitious as something like Fleeting Iris. I mean, everything was usually a flash game.
Yeah.
So definitely bold step to do something as ambitious back then. So, but it panned out in my opinion. It worked out fine. But anyway, so now let's move on to Fleeting Iris itself. Like the meat and potatoes of this interview was about Fleeting Iris.
Hmm.
And so, first off, the name Fleeting Iris. Like, where, like, did, did you come up with that name, or was it like just? Did you guys have other names that you thought of, like, you know?
I think
What was
that
still behind that?
I think everyone is going, regardless of what type of art you are making. I'm going to guess that most people are going to have some issues picking up a name to define whatever they did. Regardless if it's the name of an album, or regardless if it is the name you give to a painting, everyone is going to struggle. Our first initial idea was completely uninspired. It was just I Am His Adventure. We were starting, and we thought at the time, let's just focus on actually making a game, and then we can consider all the other stuff. And then we can think about all the other stuff later, like what are we going to call this and this, or the game, or whatever. Let's just focus on making the game, and then we think about the small details. Even though probably naming a game is not a small detail, but at the time it didn't feel like a priority, so it was basic as fuck. It was I Am His Adventure. I don't remember if we actually had other names for it, but I was talking with a friend at the time in Discord, and I was like, "Listen, I need a name that is cool for the main character, and I need something that is meaningful." And a few names at the time were suggested. I think Ayane with the N was one of them. We had Kyoko at the time, and eventually suggested Ayame because not only the direct translation of it is iris, as in the iris, the flower, but it also symbolizes innocence and pure-heartedness and whatever. Which I was like, I love the symbolism about it. Let's do this. And then I was like, how about instead of like calling it the game something Ayame, we go like, what about Fleeting Iris, the actual translation? And then it clicks. And then because it's like a fleeting innocence, but at the same time we were like the iris with the eye, the actual eye, and how on the Diageo expression you kind of see the iris disappear, so the character goes from innocence to that point in the game like relatively fast in terms of the scope of the game. So
yeah, that was my first like interpretation of it when I thought of it, because when I hear iris, I don't think of the flower. I think of like wandering eyes. So I was like, oh, Fleeting Iris, like wandering eyes, like she's looking at all the different options or something like that.
Yeah, and but the ultimate goal was, let's make something that when people put this on Google, they won't see like a trillion other alternatives. Right. that was the main goal, was when people are looking for our game, they can easily find our game and not something else. Like I Am His Adventure, there can be like a billion. If you make a game a name that is not memorable, or that it can be confused by something else, we're like, dude, there's a billion whatever's adventure. Let's try to do something that is original, and that's when the name Fleeting Iris came true.
Yeah, you definitely want some originality. Like recently, I've learned of an indie game called Deer. It's literally just called Deer, and I couldn't even imagine having to look up something about that game.
Exactly. Imagine looking for walkthroughs for that game. Deer walkthroughs.
How do you walk through a deer?
It's gonna be very complicated.
Yeah.
That's literally the thing that I thought. Like when people are going on YouTube or Google or whatever it is, are they going to find our game, or they're going to find like a billion other sources?
Right. Ease of access to not just official content made to help the player, but also fan stuff, like fan made walkthroughs and stuff.
Exactly.
Like that.
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely.
We didn't with the other games. We didn't spend as much time. We were like, let's just make something that completely embodies what the feeling of what the game we're making. For instance, Bloodlust not only represents like the actual term of what bloodlust means, but also because of the story with the blood, the succubus blood, and that it causes people to lust, bloodlust. We were like, let's make something more simple, because we can always use Unlucky Chronicles before it, and people can, if they're confused, they can just use Unlucky Chronicles bloodlust, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, 100% agree. 100% agree. Sorry, I'm pulling up those notes again.
It's okay.
Because, I wanted to have some sort of layout for it.
No, it's good. Like, the way we deliver stuff on our channel is usually not try to edit anything and just try to give it, like, raw to people, so they don't feel like things are altered or edited to exactly.
Script robotic, basically. You want it to feel like this is more genuine. But yeah, okay, so the game engine, it was RPG Maker. I forget which version of RPG Maker was it?
VX.
Okay, so what made you look at RPG Maker and was like, that's the game engine we're gonna use. This is how we're gonna make the game, basically.
But first and foremost, you kind of already answered a part of that question on your previous question, because, like you stated, at the time there weren't a lot of options. Everything was Flash.
Very true.
Right?
Very true. I mean, nowadays you have stuff like Unity, you have Godad, you have
Rampy, whatever it is.
you have
some people are doing an Unreal Engine, and a lot of people have acquired like very broad skill sets and whatnot. It's a lot easier now. Definitely, it's a lot easier now, and makes sense making games now. But at the time, like before, people were, everyone is using art now. Everybody's using AI. Before AI, it was DS 3D. Before DS 3D, a lot of people were using something called 3D CG, and before that, you were just making drawings.
Making drawings.
Basically, at the time, it was one of the simplest yet more powerful engines that we could use. And I always liked the charm of RPG Maker. I feel like it's immersive. I feel like there is something there. Even a few days ago, like maybe at the start of the month, but a friend of mine that is working on his own game, Laura's Adventure, or I feel like it's something like it's called something like that. If it's not Laura's Adventure, it's very similar. But Laura's Lustful Secrets, I think that's how it's called. The thing is, my friend was working on RPG Maker MV when he was working on his game, and suddenly switched to Rampy. And I know there's a lot of people that is like, oh, the game is simpler now, it's easier to play, whatever. I feel like the game lost so much charm and lost so much with the transition. Obviously, it's now it's just point and click and follow, whatever. If you're just trying to fetch scenes, now it's easier.
That's what Rinpai. That's how you pronounce it, right? Rinpai.
I don't know. I assume it's Rampy, but it might be,
because
some people call it Rampy. I don't know.
Yeah, it's spelled a little weird, but yeah, that's what Rinpai is. It's more of like it's not really a game. It's more interactive, like visual novel.
Exactly.
Sort of is.
Exactly.
And you look at like a game like Feeding Iris, that's more of a game. Sure, it's also like you're fetching the scenes, but it's also like you get to interact. You get to go wherever you want to go. So
I feel like there's more charm. I feel like there's more charm to that, especially when you play the Halloween minigame. You definitely realize that there's a lot of possible gameplay elements. The thing is, when we started making Fleeting Iris, we started by making the world map and whatnot in a way that all the games could be made in the same map. So that was our initial goal. Like when we made the game, when we made the maps, when we made all that, it was supposed to be able to arbor the different all the different games. But there's many extreme limitations to VXAs, and we were able to combat them in a sense. But for future games, we definitely need to make the transition to MV. And we're gonna stop there because obviously the issues that have happened with I feel it was Unity, and now they are going to transition to RPG Maker Unite, which is like a combination with Unity, and we're not feeling that at all. But I feel like MV is going to solve a lot of our problems. Some of them, the main ones were resolution, which is still an issue with VXAs. We kind of fixed it for the shoulder patch and whatnot, but resolution is still an issue. Cell phone support is also an issue. There's ways to play with emulations and whatnot. It's fixable, but it's an issue. And the mouse support, web support, all those things are present in MV. They are not present in VXAs. For us, the transition was painful but necessary. So that's one of the reasons why we're transitioning. But at the time, RPG Maker VXAs felt right, and I still feel like there's a lot of charm to it. I like playing the game. I think there's a lot of stuff that we could have done better, but we didn't want to make too many mechanics. We didn't want to implement too many mechanics right away because we were focusing on learning the engine, learning how to make games. So we were like, let's keep this simple, so we can learn this and get it right. And then on the second game, third game, fourth game, we can consider all the hard mechanics like
Right.
managing inventories, fighting, managing bases, all that stuff.
See, the longer we're talking about this, the more I'm starting to realize, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like to me that Fleeting Iris, this game, was definitely the foundation of your future games. And am I right in saying that? Like it's the
Absolutely, in more ways, than one. Story wise, probably it's the weakest one, in terms of the actual plot that unites all the games, because we only touch the zombie, air quotes, topic very on a very basic level, but and definitely the second, the third, the third and the fourth game, which is the consequence of the other three games, are going to go a lot deeper in terms of story on that. But however, in terms of like the scripts that we made, how we learned to work with the project, knowing what we needed to make, it basically, this game prepared us for all the other games that we want to make in the future, not just in terms of like story, but in terms of everything. The connections that we made in terms of people in real life, in terms of working with the engine and knowing how to deliver, making mistakes and not making them again in the future. Fleeting Hours prepared us in a way that there's no way our future games will be as good as we want them to be if Fleeting Hours didn't happen. Fleeting Hours was the base for future games in more ways than one. Obviously, it was supposed to be even more because we were supposed to use the same maps and the same engine and whatever. But MV is similar to the point where we know, we learned a lot from VXAs, and a lot of it is just extrapolation. It's very simple to transition from one to the other. The biggest difference is obviously the scripts, which in VXAs they are made in Ruby on Rails, and for MV they are on JavaScript. That's the biggest difference. But we know which scripts we need. We know what are the limitations of the engine, and we already know from working on Fleeting Iris which scripts we're gonna need in JavaScript to be able to deliver our future games. So Fleeting Iris, we were going in almost blind, and now starting our other games, we know exactly what we need. So yeah, and definitely in more ways than one, Fleeting Iris was a great base for our future games.
All right, awesome. So now that we got that out of the way, what are some? Should I say this now, or should we talk? Let's talk about Fleeting Iris in general, more in a general sense. So you have this story of a girl who goes from her homeland to this new place, and of course it's an NTR plot. So of course she's met with these different characters, and of course things happen. You collect scenes, all that stuff. So my question is, like, why was it that it seemed like in the game there was a lot of the same sort of, I guess, mentality a lot with some of the characters. Like there were some like for example, you meet someone, and you hear what they say, and they come off nice or they come off mean, but they're all thinking of the same thing, which is, like, how can I get this woman to cheat on her husband? Like, like like so. Yeah, that's all.
So the question is, sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Basically, why is it that it seems like there's a lot of like the same? It feels like we got the same character, but with a different skin. Because when you meet a male. Oh.
No. I understand. I understand the where you're coming from. Like, why are the characters so similar, and it always ends up to play in the similar path?
Because it feels sort of samey to me. But again, I'd like to hear what you have to say to that.
Maybe it's just my inability to convey different personalities to the characters, but that was not the goal. And in some cases, it's even my inability to go deeper on some subjects like BDSM, which I was saving for later, and we didn't get to go deeper. But there's a few things that I'm very against, which is like fortuitous sex and rape and stuff like that. I'm completely against it, and I have a hard time writing it. But in terms of characters, we were kind of like trying to make a different scenario. For instance, Sato is something that he realized no one never wanted Ayame well, so to speak. So you feel like regardless of which path you go, is someone that is going to blackmail you, someone that has no limits, someone that will constantly betray you and lie to you and play schemes on you, and in the end, regardless of which ending you deal with, you feel like there was no salvation, or no way to actually be with someone like him. Where in Melvin, you kind of see some sort of redemption arc, right? It was someone that used to do completely evil things, and then basically started growing accustomed to Ayame, and he started developing real feelings for her, and actually falling for her, and so with then, depending on what you pick, you see a different Robert, you see different Dan. The scenario is different. Like, one is blackmail, one is emotional blackmail, and one is kind of like swingers, right? So I was trying to make different scenarios, but in terms of like the anti-scenes themselves, I feel like the ability to make better twists, better positions, better this, better that, I feel like it was just my inability in me starting as a writer to. I was trying to add more. It's more of volume other than quality. We were going kind of for quantity over quality. So okay. I feel like I was less. I feel like I was less demanding of the scenes as I am now. Like, at the time, any scene was hot. At any type of writing was good enough, and we were just volume. We just wanted to create hentai, and
right. And at the end of the day, like I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, go ahead.
But at the end of the day, I guess that's what it is. It is hentai. It doesn't really need like in-depth stuff. Like, I'm thinking this to myself now, as I'm realizing myself. Like, yeah, I guess, to sit there and be like, yeah, why are all the characters like this? But then I also gotta ask myself, I'm playing hentai. Like, do I really like? Do I really have a right?
No, I really believe you're right in what you're saying. There was definitely many more ways to deliver the scenes, to make them different from each other. So I was trying to focus more on the scenario, what she was wearing, where they were having sex. Like, for me, okay, a blowjob is a blowjob, but maybe a blowjob that you do in a window while there's people on the outside is a different blowjob from one that you do under a table with people on the other side of the table. That is different from a blowjob that you do to your husband at a home. Like, for a lot of people, that's going to be like a blowjob is a blowjob is a blowjob. But for me, it's the scenario that sells the difference between the scenes and the difference between the routes. But ultimately, if you're a woman like I am, that feels like the ultimate girl next door, but you just happen so to be naive, there's definitely going to be a lot of people hitting on you in real life. Like, I don't even want to imagine some of the hardships that a lot of women have to deal with. And obviously, this is like a two-sided sword, because obviously there's a lot of women that take advantage of that to reach certain points in their lives. There's definitely women that use their sexuality to reach their goals. But the same way, there's a lot of women that are trying to make an honest living, so to speak, and they're trying to reach their goals by their own merit from their intelligence, their ability, their skill set, their whatever. And a lot of people try to offer them shortcuts or even threaten them with. I mean, look at Hollywood. Every time there's a woman that says this director used to force me to do things, a million women come to a raid. Yeah, he used to do that to me as well. Like, look at Harvey Weinstein or whatever the fuck he's called. So, and it's not limited to just women. That happens to men as well. But obviously, it's going to happen to women a lot more. We're way more able to be predators than women are. We, as in men. I'm talking as in men. We
absolutely agree.
We just have those. There's some patriarchy in society, like white men or usually white men. You can be white, regular white. You can be Jew. You can be Zionist, whatever you want to call it. But people of power usually have a certain. Most people are white or come from whatever family or come from whatever company or whatever, and most of these people that in positions of power usually are men. This is something that society has been actively trying to counteract, but it's a reality that we live nowadays. So obviously this is going to end up on a lot of statutory rape. And it's like that. Like, every time a school teacher does that with a boy, everybody's like, yeah, the boy's a champ. But if it was like an old man doing that to a little girl, you'd be like, oh, that's disgusting, I want to kill that motherfucker. But statutory rape is present and will always be present in these types of environments. So since a lot of power is being given to privileged white men, which are in a position of privilege, doesn't mean that they didn't have to work to get there when they did, but now they are in a position of privilege, so there will always going to be a lot of statutory rape. So Ayami will always be an appealing target, innocent, beautiful woman. I don't think a lot of people care that she's married. I do feel like it's a turn on for some characters in the game, but I feel like ultimately it's basically just opportunity, so to speak.
Yeah, basically what it is.
So I feel like that's the reason why a lot of characters feel similar. It's because everyone hits on Ayami. Like, they don't care. Most men don't respect that a woman is married or whatever it is. Most men don't. That's the reality. It's the truth. Most men don't care if a woman is engaged or if he's committed or whatever. Like, And to be fair, like, it's not like all the routes are filled with that. Like, look at Clark's route, for example. That was a story of a love that formed that, them themselves were like, hey, this can't be right. Like, we really shouldn't do it, but it happens regardless, right? So, but yeah, okay. Thank you for being honest with me about that. Admitting that there was just some inability. But okay, so I want to ask you something, and that is, what was your personal favorite route to work on? Oh,
or to
God.
write for? I know that's a tough one. Because there's a lot of good ones that I genuinely would just hook, like, in the terms of story. For example, Sato's route I really loved. I loved Clark's route. The Garcia's route.
Any specific ending or on the Stark's route or just the whole route in specific?
I'm sorry, my screen blacked out for a second.
Any specific ending on the Starke route? Because there's two. There's the one that she ends up at the slums, and there's the one where she ends up, doing the thing to the 7-Eleven.
Oh, in which route we're talking about?
Sato's route has two different endings.
Oh, well, yeah, but I'm talking about like in general, like just the
Oh,
route
okay.
itself, like going through it.
Oh
Very
man, here's the
But
thing.
we can also
Even
we can
though
also do endings.
even though I feel like there's a lot that I could have done better in the game. Oh, give me a second. I just need to answer the door. It's like 10 seconds.
Okay, yeah, true. I'll get my thoughts together. Oh man, I botched that freaking question. Oh man.
I bet you want to remake the question.
Yeah, yeah. So basically, what I was asking is just in general, what was your favorite route to work on, and then we can talk about endings afterwards. But right now, I'm talking about the route itself, like just getting from point A to point B.
Does
What
the
did you feel
Shota
like going
patch
through?
count?
Sure, absolutely, absolutely.
I feel like it's the one that I was the most prepared, and it's the one where when I got to the ending, I didn't feel like, oh man, there's stuff that I could have done better. I don't feel that way about the Shota patch. I might feel like a little like there's something that I could have done better. There's this scenario that I could have done different, whatever. But in terms of the whole thing, I definitely feel like the Shota patch was my best work in terms of the pace, the delivery, the whatever it is. In terms of the game, if I have to combine like music with the story, with the writing, with whatever, I don't know. I feel like I can probably make like a top 3. I really like the hospital route. I feel like the scenes ended up amazing. Man, I don't know.
So yeah, okay. So how's about that? Top 3, just top 3 favorite routes.
So
like,
I'm going to exclude I'm going to exclude free roam, like the hobos and whatnot. Even though
yeah, because free roam is its own separate thing, and I have questions for that later. But yeah, let's just look at.
I really like free roam, but
Route.
in routes,
Yeah, in terms of routes, what are we looking at?
I feel
Like,
like family route could have looked better. I definitely feel like in the remake it's gonna look better. I'm really happy with, in general, the hospital route. I feel like I can rewrite a little bit, but I really like the scenes, and I think I can make it shine.
Okay. Good route.
Armand route definitely needs improvements towards the end. Definitely needs more BDSM and whatnot, so I'm not gonna pick that one. Clark route, I'm not a huge fan of Clark. It was just something that I wanted to.
Ooh. Are you saying like you're not a fan of Clark as a character? Like
No, the
how he
whole,
sort of
the
plays
whole,
out,
the
or
whole,
just
the,
the
yeah,
route?
the whole scenario,
Okay.
the friend that does that to a friend. I don't love that. I feel like I'm gonna go with the hospital route. I'm gonna go with Melvin because it's just so broad and I like it. And I'm gonna go with the Garcias. Yeah, that's probably gonna be my top 3.
Okay. Hey, not bad. Me personally, if I had to pick the top 3, Garcia's definitely up there. I love that route. Clark's I did enjoy, but I really liked the pub mistress. Like, okay.
I consider that Melvin. That's cheating. I consider that.
Okay. We won't consider that then. You're right. It is mostly Melvin.
Yeah, Melvin is so broad because of the way that it was developed. At some point during development, people voted that each patch had to have at least one scene from Melvin route. So yeah, that route is so big that unless you completely hate Melvin, it's definitely going to be one of the best routes because it is the one with the most scenes. Yeah.
It's basically the one that starts you in the game and can carry you all the way through the end.
Yeah, I'm going to improve.
You don't need
I'm
a
going to improve it a
branch.
lot. I'm going to improve that a lot on the so much in the remake.
Okay. Then I guess I'll switch over to Sato because I did like Sato's rap too.
Yeah. The scenes were amazing. Muku and Tiger Lila. Definitely there's routes where they shine more than others, and there's characters that they shine more than others. The whole Sato route and the two different with all the Ganguro slash Gyaru costumes and all the scenes that happen with the things that she does in the alleyway and the things that happen, like, 'cause Sato puts her through a lot of stuff that adds like a lot of spicy scenarios, like the things that she does in the jail with Flint. The possible endings, they're so brutal. I feel like there's a lot in Sato's route. Definitely want to improve on that one as well.
Definitely a lot to unpack, and for the scenes they look great, but the story is like ooh. No, I don't mean that in a bad way either. It's great story. It's like wow. It's like a good kind of pain, I guess you could say. Like I don't know if that makes sense or not, but
no, I get it.
Yeah. You made the game.
Oh, I see. What's happening. Somebody's saying that there's a lot of background noise on me. It's the air purifier. I thought I didn't think people could hear it, but apparently.
Uh-oh.
I just turned it off. But yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just giving you a moment. Don't think I really have much else to say. Okay, so let's talk about some of the endings that happened in the game. I think my personal favorite is I feel like I'm basic for saying this, but I really love the wholesomeness of the purity ending.
The what?
The purity ending, like the true ending.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know, I'm just a wholesome guy. I love the fact that that it feels like everyone sort of wins. Well, except for the people who wanted to smash Ame, but everyone sort of
sucks
wins,
to be them.
Yeah, it sucks to be them. But
life stuff wear an helmet. I mean, in the thing is, I wish I could just continue Fleeting Iris indefinitely. And that's kind of more or less what I want to do with the remake, to some extent. I kind of want to work on the remake until I'm done with all the other games, because I want to make it even bigger. But I don't want anything to seem like it happened by accident, because a lot of routes was supposed to lead into something else or prolong longer. But we got to a point where the speed at which we were working on the first year is not the speed that we were working on the second year. It's not the speed and it's because, first of all, we are getting older. Second of all, we are becoming a lot more demanding of the scenes. Like we said initially, not all scenes are great scenes. Not all drawings are good enough, and we had to go back and change a lot of drawings. If the people that kept playing Fleeting Iris through the years have seen multiple instances of almost every single map in the game, have seen multiple instances of entire scenes. There's a lot of stuff that was changed, and there was a lot of stuff that we were like, okay, we can make this game even bigger. But at the end of the day, we had to cut so much stuff out of the game. And one of the routes that was supposed to be a lot bigger and have a lot more wholesomeness, so to speak, was the Purity route. It was supposed to play more or less kind of like a real route, and you were supposed to see or get more acquainted with Robert and spend more time together and whatnot, and actually build a life in Evan City without having to resort to sex and whatnot. Yeah. That's why some routes feel kind of incomplete. It's because they were supposed to be bigger. We just had to cut a lot of stuff out of the game.
Right. You can definitely tell, like, there were some moments where it was like, oh, we gotta wrap things up now. So
yes,
let's just blitz to the ending.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, that was one of my favorites, because not only does you see Robert and Ayame get married, you also see, like, Clark and Fujiko also have a happy ending as well. Because Ami and her make amends. Clark doesn't betray his best freaking friend. It's just nice. It's nice. But
the show the patch goes from there.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, that was another thing. I love how when the game starts, I guess you as a developer was like, okay, I think we need to make this clear, guys. This is a game. All the choices are not true. If you want to put a canon ending, the true ending is the canon ending. Okay.
Yeah.
So don't feel too bad for Robert. I know it's gonna look like he's been through a lot, but trust me, that's what's canon.
Yeah.
The true ending. Please don't hate me.
Well, there's the one thing is like all the Fleeting Iris plays like a butterfly effect. Like
Right.
what will happen if I am has made this choice? What will happen if I am has made this choice? The only ending that I told people I'm gonna make this ending for the fans, but understand that this ending does not make sense story wise at all, which is the
Right.
family ending where she ends up. That Robert knew the whole thing from the start.
Yeah.
That one
Yeah.
is not possible. It's just not possible story wise for many reasons. Some of them not explained in this game yet, but that ending will literally explain that this ending is just not possible. This is not like a butterfly effect where this is what Ayame chooses. This is like completely a what if type of.
This is a super,
you know?
like a super what if, because technically the entire
Yeah.
game is what if.
Exactly.
But
Yeah.
like this is like straight up reality breaking what if. Like this is this is not true at all. But yeah. But yeah, no. Another ending that I love was the hero ending when
Another wholesome
Robert
one,
plays,
in a sense.
when Robert, bro, but when Robert plays that Uno reverse card, it's like okay, you know what? That's fine. Go ahead. It's okay.
I feel like that's a lesson, in a
It
sense.
is a lesson. It was such a great because I think it was actually damn good because Robert explains like, hey, look, this is what you were pursuing. I'm gonna let you pursue it, but just know I'm gonna also be doing this on the side. Once you're ready to realize what kind of person you're doing this with, I'll be here. And I was like, damn, that is what a giga Chad, like.
I
That was
definitely, I
great.
definitely feel as a man, to the point where I am in my life, I definitely feel like if it was a different period in my life, like many years ago, I would be like, I don't care who he is, I'm gonna beat the shit out of this motherfucker, and I'm gonna act the fool. Dude, you need to love yourself before you love anyone else, and that's what Robert shows at the end of the hero route is, you're not playing me. I'm choosing to move on from this, and you see that he's falling for Adriana, and he has obviously some setbacks, so to speak. He's reluctant to it because it doesn't find any pleasure on basically stealing Dan's wife. But he also realizes that Dan is mistreating Adriana, and he also realizes if he's mistreating Adriana, eventually he's gonna mistreat Ayame as well. And when she realizes it's too late because I've had already moved on. But luckily for Ayame, she realizes fast enough to the point where, they decide to both share Robert, and Robert, like you said, just decides to move on and acts like a Gigi shot and doesn't let her hurt him. He just moves on, and he's decided to move on. He's to the brink of like, if things kept going on that path and Ayame did not repent, so to speak, he will just probably just divorce Ayame and marry Adriana.
Yeah, and that's to me that was freaking amazing.
Yeah, man, love yourself. That's the lesson about that. You don't have to make a scene just because someone is acting a fool. You can just decide to move on and just love yourself. Like the fact that she was cheating on Robert, it's completely on her. I know that there's a lot of people that when they get cheated on, they started doing a lot of introspection. What did I do? What could I do wrong? Please take me back. And when you start going on that, please take me back to someone that already moved on from you, if you had any chance to get that person back, or if you, but please don't take that
And
person back. But if you had
that's
any
what I
chance,
love.
you're gonna ruin it. And
that's what
Robert
I
is
love.
above that.
Yeah, and that's what I love so much about the route itself because there's times like when you're at the resort where you can act like that, where you can
Exactly.
act like like hey,
Humiliate yourself.
yeah, humiliate yourself, and that ends up pushing her away, and that's how
Exactly.
you end up and or you can just be like, you know what, be a man about it, be like, okay,
Yeah, Gigi Shad, just
That's fine.
fucking, you know what? Do you, and you go on about your life, and
He's-
it
my
was
man,
it was about to move on.
my man literally was like, you know what, you're gonna try to steal my wife, guess what, I'm stealing yours, and he does. And oh man, what a Chad. I
And
was like, this is-
the best part is that Robert doesn't even do that to get revenge. He just naturally does it.
he just does, yeah, because my guy. Anyway, but yeah. So, what were some of your favorite endings that you have, or
Definitely,
like a
definitely,
favorite?
definitely that one, because I also like I kept showing people in a sense that all the women are size queens, but that's not true. You know what's funny? There was a study made that involved like tens of thousands of women and tens of thousands of men, and they asked men if they were happy with their penis size, and over 50%. I don't remember the exact number. I feel it was like something like 56%. You'll have to Google this. I'm sure it's easy to find, but 56% of the men said that they wish they had bigger penises because they feel like everyone has 7 inches or bigger, right? And when they asked women this, uh, women that were not close to their partners, 86% said that they were completely satisfied with the penises, and another short percentage said, "I can deal with it. I wish it was bigger, but I can deal with this." And then something like 10% as said, "No, I'm completely unsatisfied." So only 1 in 10 women is completely unsatisfied with their partner's penises, but like half of the men feel very self-conscious about it. So this is definitely one of those things where it's like the motion of the ocean. And Robert showed that it's more important to be passionate and be there and feel something for the character, other than I'm a big giga Chad, I'm a super alpha male and I have a huge penis, right? And then
Right.
it proved that she had this and she chose me. I am better than that. So Adriana also helps Robert in a sense to come at peace with, I'm not inadequate. She's the one that feels like I am, but I'm not. And Adriana kind of shows Robert that. And then Ayami realizes it as well. So it's kind of, I kind of felt like let's make a wholesome ending for the people that feel bad about this when it's not true. Not all women are size queens. Most women aren't.
Yeah, definitely. After I got that, I was like, wow, that was such a great ending. I feel so great for Robert.
I feel like story wise, that was probably one of the best endings, if not the best ending.
Yeah, it was a great ending, and it had a great it was great because, like we were talking about earlier, that it's such a teachable moment. When you're faced with this sort of situation, how are you gonna act? How are you gonna behave?
Exactly.
Are you gonna allow your emotions to get the better of you, or are you gonna be a bigger person about it and deal with it in a different way? So yeah, definitely. Do you feel like there's any other moments in Fleeting Iris that you really feel like, hey, look, this was definitely a teachable moment for people to learn,
so
and
much, so much.
So what were some that just come to mind? Like I'm curious.
Well, in terms of endings, like the BBC actress, I felt like it was great for the comic relief. I feel like it was great for comic relief. But there's plenty of moments in Fleeting Iris where I feel like, if you always take the egocentric, if you always take the easy way out, if you just do stuff out of feeling, stuff out of whim, instead of trying to pick what should be the best thing for you, and most of the times you're going to get you're going to regret your decisions. Like making decisions out of whim is generally a horrible idea to do in life. One thing because it's going on a whim is completely different from having a gut feeling, right? Going on a whim is almost literally having a gut feeling that tells you don't do that, and you go, nah, but I feel like doing it anyway, and then you regret it when you get slapped in the face. So there's definitely moments where you feel like seeking revenge is probably not the best way to go about on Fleeting Iris. For instance, I feel like the Kinky Kittens route is somewhat a lesson on don't judge shit without talking to your partner first. Because if Ayame talked to Robert and said, I knew you were in that place at that time, whatever, Ayame wouldn't feel like he was cheating. Like, he kind of was, in a sense, but she kind of put him in that position. I'm not trying to justify what he's doing, but
Right.
I feel like if you have a problem with your partner and you're talking about someone that you're considering on marrying, growing old with, having kids, building a family with, if you are not honest with that person, and if you are not going to talk about the person with about the problems that you guys have, like, who are you going to open up to? Who are you going to be honest to? And I feel like that route is the type of route where if you just opened up. In fact, the whole Fleeting Iris is, Ayame starts getting blackmailed early on. If she talked to Robert and said, Robert, this happened, I'm being framed for this, whatever, what do you think I could do? She will probably skip most of Fleeting Iris just from having fucking common sense.
Yeah, definitely.
So being naive and being gullible is definitely plays against Ayame a lot of times. I feel like a lot of routes have a little bit of a teachable moment, so to speak.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you're absolutely right. You know, it's like you don't want to be naive, and you don't want to just go with whatever someone tells you to do.
Robert, for instance, don't, like, if you start focusing on your job, and I mean, he's trying to save the world from zombies, but if you start disregarding your marriage.
I'm sorry, you're just so casual about it. Like, yeah, he's just trying to save the entire planet from the world, but still, you know.
No. You have to sympathize with him. Like, he's trying to save the world from zombies, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, he completely disregards Ayame, and he's surprised in the end that she's not feeling happy in the marriage. Mm-hmm. You know, I feel like here and there's definitely inside the whole entire world. I feel like there's a lot of small teachable moments where it makes you question, like, will people actually do this in real life? And there's the fucked up part. A lot of the scenes and a lot of the routes that I've seen in Fleeting Iris are inspired from stuff that I've read in stories that people told me. Some of them I might have been involved in myself. So. Ooh. There's a lot of stuff in Fleeting Iris where you're like, dude, no one will ever fucking do that. You're sure? Dude, I've listened. I've had stories to the point where a friend of mine was dating a chick, and she will leave his house every time, at whatever. Oh, I'm gonna meet this guy, whatever. And eventually she told him it was a guy, and he's like, wait, you're going to meet another guy? And he's like, no, but he's like a father to me. You don't understand, and he helps me pay my bills. And when he told me, wait, he helps her pay her bills, bro, that doesn't make any sense.
What?
So basically, he was the how do you say this in English? He was the mayor of a small part of Portugal, and basically like it's like the New York mayor, right?
Okay. I think I see what you're getting. Yeah.
So it's not Lisbon, but it's something close to Lisbon that is, you know, and and he will grab a lot of girls, take them to a party. Imagine like Epstein Island, but, you know, and he will grab a lot of girls, grab them, send a van for them, grab them, drop them at a party with a bunch of other dudes, and then just deliver them back. So basically, he was dating with a girl that was pretty much like a call girl for some government level shit, dude, like crazy shit. And I was like, dude, I could 100% put Ayame in one of these situations. And one of the ways that I was trying to expand the office route when she meets the mayor and whatnot was to go through that. So I know it's funny to me when people say, oh, no woman will ever do this in this route when put in this scenario. Bro, you have no fucking idea what woman will do.
No idea.
Humans are very iffy a lot of times. Like, you have no idea what people will do.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, man. I've also experienced some crazy shit in my life. I 100%. I 100%.
A lot of people did. Listen, I'm 38 at this point. If you told me, 23 years ago. Let's say 2000. I was already 16 at the time. If you told me at the time, dude, you don't even know. 20 years from now, girls are going to be promiscuous as fuck. There's going to be an app. You just swipe right, and a bitch just calls you and goes like, "Want to meet up? Yeah, let's have sex." And you meet a hot bitch that day. Nah, bro, you're talking about trolls, bro. Like, that's no. Hot bitches Fucking hoes, fucking tot, bro. You just swipe right and they show up at your doorstep, bro. I will be like, no fucking way, dude. There's no way women are going to demean themselves. I'm sorry, what? It's 2023. People fucking get laid with a question mark. They just question mark each other. Question mark. The other person's like, thumbs up. Send me address. Dude, it's fucking crazy. It's fucking crazy. I feel like at the time, sometimes I feel like if society keeps going this way, this path, down this road, in like 2040 or 2050, people are gonna look at Fleeting Iris and go like, why is this bitch acting so rude? What the fuck? Marriage? What kind of nonsense is that?
Marriage. Oh my god, it's gonna be such a foreign concept, right?
Yes, I definitely feel like all of the stuff that, a lot of stuff that people are like, there's no way a woman will do this. Like when Fleeting Iris started, it feels like, I don't know, why is she playing so hard to get nowadays? You know what I mean? It's fucking crazy. It's a paradigm shift on society. And Fleeting Iris is a lot of stuff that people used to feel like, there's no way this is a thing. Dude, you have no idea what is a thing.
No idea. You have not seen the shit I've seen.
And I'm 100% sure I don't even have it worse, bro. I'm sure people have stories like fucking darknet level shit.
Yeah, some underbelly shit, some shady shit that we do see some elements in Fleeting Iris as well.
Dude, there's plenty of girls out there that make IMS body count feel like amateur night, dude.
For real, honestly. But okay, so we talked about some routes. We've talked about the game engine. We've talked about some other things. Now I want to talk about some of like the core cast. Mainly just Ame and Robert. And so, what was the inspirations with Ayame's design? Like, did she go through a lot of like different designs, or did you already have the idea of Ayame like in your head?
Not really. Ayame was very easy to nail. Believe it or not, we tried to make the most generic-ish ultimate girl next door type of character. So we tried to make someone that looked sexy but not too sexy, someone that looked simple but not too simple, so we were like medium-sized breasts and medium-sized ass and thick but not too thick. We want big breasts but not too big. What about the ear? Let's make it regular. Let's make it black hair, black eyes. Oh, black eyes might be a little too, let's make it like kind of hazel eyes. What about the outfit? Let's start with something simple, something that like the regular housewife in Japan will wear. And all of it was, let's make someone that is believable to be like ultimate girl next door. Not a character that is like super sexualized, where you feel like, there's no way this girl is 23 and she hasn't got dick yet.
Right.
So, Ayame is supposed to be conservative, but like sexy when she wants to take that, take that extra step. And I definitely feel like we were able to do that. As for Robert, we were trying to look like, let's make this old character. And actually, I don't know if you remember his design, but Bullock, Robert's boss, it was supposed to be Robert. That sprite in that bus was actually made for Robert initially. Yeah, that was supposed to be Robert.
Oh, interesting. And, I had no idea.
And then we just looked at it and I was like, dude, no one is going to sympathize with that dude. We need to make the generic, a good-looking, nice guy that some people can actually feel sorry for. Because I just looked at Bullock and I was like, oh man, people are not going to sympathize with that character. It looks like a fucking Bond villain.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's when we changed. That's when we changed Robert. For instance, Arthur, when we made him, used to have a cane. He used to be a lot skimpier, and they were like, "What about if we make like an old man in a cane, completely piping up Ayame? What about we make someone that is a lot more bulkier, like been through war, used to be an army guy, he's still in pretty good shape. It's a lot more believable to have that guy piping the shit out of Ayame than a man with the hunchback and the fucking cane, and you know what I mean?
Definitely. Definitely. And who designed the characters? Was it you or was it someone else on your team?
Oh, basically, I was giving directions to Muko and Tiger Lila, but in general, I feel like I gave them. I just let them be themselves. I definitely was like I kind of like this hair, cut it a little bit like this, do a little bit more like that.
You definitely gave your input, but you allowed
Yes.
them to handle more of the creative decisions.
Yeah, I tried to stay as much as hands off as I possibly could.
Okay, that's good.
Especially in characters like Ralph, for instance. Clark, I also didn't give much input on Clark. Dan, I was just like, just make this bulky NFL kind of player guy. Adriana, I feel like Adriana was one of the ones that I give the most input. Like Adriana, Ayame.
Okay, and who would you say is your favorite character design wise? That you feel like, yeah, this is the one that I
Purely aesthetically.
yeah, purely aesthetically. Indeed. Indeed.
It's funny because I'm gonna it has to be Fleeting Garis. Because design wise, I feel like the characters that the CG team, for instance, has the most ability,
We'll skip that answer because we'll skip the question because it is a little bit ambiguous, especially if you don't have like.
No, I know the answer. It's probably Melissa and Devlin.
Oh, okay. All right.
I feel like the CG team can every time they make a scene with them, they always nail it because they already got the it feels like they completely understand the character and they always look good, and that makes you like the character more because they always look good on every single scene. And my guy, when you see the Christmas scenes, my guy.
My guy.
Yo.
Want it, please.
Yo. You are not ready. You are not ready.
Give it to me, Stark. I want it.
You are not ready. But from Fleeting Garis, I'm gonna say, oh man, I have to go Ayame. Just because of all some of the costumes that they do are delivered. Ayame on the shoulder patch with the babysitter thingy, with the kind of office thingy. Ayame in the red dress on the office route. Ayame with the dude, there's so many ways in which Ayame was delivered that she looks absolutely amazing. Like Ayame with the Chun-Li costume,
Yeah, definitely.
They made her shine so much in some characters that I have to go Ayame. I know she's the main character and it's kind of boring just saying Ayame, but Ayame looks really good. Other than that, I really like the new Jazz, but Evelyn and Melissa all the way. Evelyn and Melissa, easy. My favorite characters.
Awesome, definitely. All right, so let's look at a question that was asked in the server.
Oh, wow.
When asked, if anybody has any questions.
Nice.
And let's see here. Pulling it up right now. Give me a second. Was it in here or was it in Fleeting Garis? Okay, yeah, it was Fleeting Garis. So Latex 224 asked.
Of course it did.
What was the reason for only using the latex outfit, the one in the Armand's route, just once? Sorry, at start, but you probably know me by now.
Okay, so I already answered that, but
I want to know why only that time, sir. It was so good. It should have been like the entire game. At least an option.
So, this is gonna be an easy answer, and I already kind of answered it. But the reason was, Office Route was one of the last routes to be written.
Okay.
And story-wise, I mean, if you haven't played Fleeting Garis by now, it sucks to be you, but you realize that
Hold on. Yeah. That was another thing that came to mind. I was like, maybe we should give a spoiler warning for people listening.
Spoiler.
This
is gonna be a big spoiler alert if you haven't played the game, but you realize that first of all,
I'm sorry. If you made it this far, if you found the Heaven Studios YouTube page and clicked on this interview, I'm sorry, but you should have by now played Fleeting Iris. So
And if you're not, come back to the rest of the interview later.
yeah, come back, I guess. But too late. We already talked about like. To be fair, we didn't talk about all the endings, so I guess there's still some things for this to discover. But yeah, okay,
Not even
as you were
close.
saying.
Story-wise, you realize that Arthur is actually Jack's father. That Robert divorced his wife and she left because she was afraid that Robert realized that Jack was Arthur's son. And eventually, you also realize that Ayame is Armand's daughter.
Mhm.
And we were supposed to expand on the office route a lot. Like, a lot. But we had to start cutting routes because we were nowhere near finishing the game. So that one was one of the last routes that we worked on. And story-wise, you realize that one is the one that you unlock almost like the latest in the game, besides the free roam. It's the office route. So
Right.
we had plans to work on a lot more scenes and bring that costume back a lot more times, but we had to cut the game short because it's not being financially good for us, and we need to stay afloat to be able to keep working on entire games. And
Right.
a lot of people obviously feel like Fleeting Iris has run its course. And I keep getting every day, why didn't Jack get its own route? Why didn't you guys expand on the office route? Why didn't the bestiality route why wasn't the bestiality route bigger? Because the funds are not looking good, guys. That's the reason. If people kept supporting us and if we kept getting money to make the game, we would have kept making more routes and expanding them and whatnot. But it got to a point where we realized, Fleeting Iris is not very people are not very hyped about the game anymore. We need to move on from this. So that's when we decide we need to wrap this up and start working on Bloodlust. So we just need to put out the two DLCs that completely promised people, which was Christmas and the Shota patch. And once these two are finished, next year it's going to be full-time Bloodlust, full-time Journey Broad.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank
So
you.
so
And
that's why there was
That's
plans
why.
for it. There was plans for it. It just
lost
never happened.
everything, The
Yeah.
time, everything. It was just, it sucked because it was such a great idea that was implemented too late. I feel like it was just implemented too late, and it just fell victim to time constraint, budgets, all that.
Yeah,
So, sad. But
very.
hopefully remake, we can have some redemption for it.
Yeah.
So now,
I love
bonus
Fleeting
question.
Iris.
Bonus question time. In what order in the unreleased DLC / passage would be on your list from first to last to add? So, he has.
Oh, what the
Fujiko's
fuck? I
So
don't
he has-
remember.
So he has them listed here. So I guess from first to last, if you had the chance to work on all of them, how would you like? What would you work on first versus what would you work on last? So he has Fujiko's childhood. He has Jack's solo route, Armand's Operation Infiltration, Robert's Trust ending.
Is Christmas patch there?
I'm sorry?
Is Christmas patch there?
No. I guess he's asking like, which one of these unreleased DLCs / patches would you like work on if you had the time to? Because these don't have the Shota or Christmas
Oh.
route. So he has. I don't know if you remember Fujiko's childhood, Jack's solo route.
No, I know.
Armand.
It's Fujiko's,
Okay.
it's Jack's, Armand's, Robert's, Melvin's, and Cosplay Weekend, right?
Yeah. So yeah. So which ones in those order would you want to work on first to last?
First and foremost, probably we will go to votes as we always do. We'll probably create poll. Very
Definitely wanna get
likely.
an opinion.
Very likely.
But if it was up to you though, like if it
Oh,
was solely up to you.
Shit. That's a completely different question. I will leave Robert's Trust Innings patch for last because it will wrap up the game. I will do Melvin After Hours first because there's a lot of NTR components in there, like literally like Robert finding out and whatever that people like. Plus, it has the most characters. It has Ayame, Fujiko, Adriana, whatever. Plus, it will bring back people's favorite character, which is Melvin. After that, I will do Jack because he needs one, and my history for Jack route is so good. People are gonna love it. Then I will make probably the cosplay convention, which also looks amazing. And then I will do Darman's Operation Infiltration, which is the one that has the biggest impact story-wise. Then I will do Robert's Trust Endings patch, and finally I will do the Fujiko's Childhood because it's kind of like detached to the rest of the game.
Okay.
It's kind of like a side story, so that I will leave that one for last for that reason.
All right. Good question. So now that we're heading towards the end, because I feel like we gave a good overview of how we felt about, the game and some other things. Actually, there's this. No, I feel like we've gone through the game. Plus, I didn't want this interview to take too long because there were some other things I want to do today. But so now that we're getting on to final thoughts and questions, this next question. Actually, you know what? No, let's save that for here in a second. But is there any final thoughts you have for Fleeting Iris? Like anything that you want to say that you're proud of? Anything that you felt like, man, I can't wait for a remake because I'm gonna fix this like immediately. Just some general final thoughts on the game itself.
Sometimes I keep telling people that the game is trash. Sometimes I'm too harsh on the game, and I know I am. I really like Fleeting Iris. It's just that I look at it and I could have done it so much better. But even though I'm going to switch a lot about the game, the first thing that I tell I'm going to switch this right away is the start of the game is going to be completely different. Like the time it takes for Ayame to actually start having sex, it's going to be even more painfully grindy. Not in a sense of for people that just want to get there and see entire scenes, they will not get there. So it's not going to be a game for those people. There's going to be more days. Ayami is going to get a lot more acquainted in the town and create relationship with the characters before she actually opens up. So it's going to be a slower corruption, and we're going to get rid of almost every single stat in the game. Like almost every single stat. They are kind of pointless to how we're going to build the game. They are kind of pointless, and all the routes besides I think Clark route. I feel like all the routes besides Clark route are going to be playable on the same playthrough, including Family route.
That's interesting.
Family route is going to be a sequence from the hospital route. So basically, she's going to be able to start working on the hospital much early on, and only after Fujiko beats what's his face? Completely forgot his name.
Which one?
The tall dude that is in the hospital, the antagonist in the hospital. Scott. God damn it, I forgot his name. So Scott is basically I is going to start working in the hospital as a nurse much earlier, and Scott is going to get his admission on the hospital a lot later. So Ayame can just be like, I don't give a shit. I'm not going to protect my sister. You probably deserve what you got. So fuck you. And Ayame basically works as a nurse. And that's when Arthur arrives at Ayame's house, and basically she's gonna be his nurse.
Oh, okay, that makes a lot of sense,
doesn't it? I wish I came up with this fucking idea 10 years ago. See, that's the problem with working on games.
Yeah, I see what you mean. I just love that. Yeah, I agree. It's a great idea. I just wish I wasn't freaking stupid back then.
Yes, exactly. That's yeah. So now you know why I look at Fleeting Iris the way I look, because I criticize myself. Like, if you can criticize other people's work, and you cannot criticize the state where you made things or what you were thinking 10 years ago, either you're arrogant or you haven't evolved. It's one of the two.
Right. Absolutely. And as a creator, you're always gonna look at something, and it's always like, man, if I could have done this though, and I could have done that. And to me, that's the mark of someone who's genuinely growing. Like if you can't look back at your past work and be like, I want to change this. I would have done that differently. I would have done this. Either your original thing that you made was literally perfect, like absolutely perfect, or you're just arrogant.
Yeah.
That, or you're just blinded by what you created, which a lot of people do have. and it's not arrogance or stupidity. It just comes from the because when you make something, it's kind of hard to see some flaws unless someone points it out because you're blinded by your own creation. I don't know if you suffer from that, but I suffer from that.
I don't, because I'm extremely critical of my own shit.
Okay, well, for some people it is like that though. And
No. I definitely felt like that throughout most of my life, but it's like at some point, it's really hard to. You get to a point where you feel like, you know what? Even if this could have done better, it wouldn't be me. Like I could not do this better. My problem is with Fleeting Areas is I am better than this. I'm not saying that anything that I do, there won't be someone that will be able to do it better or different or whatever. I'm saying, to my capability, I feel like this is shit. With the soda patch, when I say that I'm happy with it, is that it took us like a year to make. We haven't touched it in a while. And when I look back at it, there's like, could have I improved a thing here or there? Yes. Is it relevant? Is it going to change the game like monstrously? Is it going to make the game much better? No. Shoulder patch is good enough to the point where I'm like, I can sign on the bottom and go like, yes, this is me. This was me at my best. When I look at Fleeting Aries, I don't feel that. I feel like I can do this so much better. So I'm going to be a lot more critical of Fleeting Aries than I am of the shoulder patch, than I am of the Christmas patch. Because the Christmas patch, we were trying to rush something. We were just like, you know what? Let's just get this out of the way. And then we started having ideas and more ideas and more ideas to improve it. And now we know we're taking a lot of time, but we're like, listen, this is going to be the last thing we do for Fleeting Aries. I don't want to exit on a shitty note where I feel like, oh man, we probably did like a bad patch. Like it literally feels rushed. It was like, hey, it's a shitty patch with Christmas costumes. We were like, no, bro, we're gonna do right by the game. We're gonna finish up on a good note.
Good, right? Like Ame has to save Christmas.
Plus,
he has to.
Plus, I have to make something that is easily be portable from that I'm gonna be proud to easily port from EF to the ending of the remake when it's done, so that I can make all the games in one big game.
Yeah. This is you making the ending of the remake like years and years beforehand.
Yes.
And then I'm gonna love the fact that many years ago we're gonna look back and be like, you son of a bitch, you literally made the ending.
Yes.
This many years, and you
yes.
cheat on us.
Bro, what's funny is that the ending for Fleeting Aries and the ending for the story and basically what happens in the end, it's already spoiling the game. It's just really hard to realize it's there.
Yeah.
But I promise, as people are playing other games, you're definitely going to be like, oh my god, how the fuck did I not realize that?
Right. I'm excited. And speaking of future games, let's talk a little bit about the future. And this is where this question kind of comes in. This has come from Aaron. It's E-R-E.
Oh, Aaron. Aaron, yes.
Aaron, yeah, Aaron. And he asks, or he says, I was thinking, since Bloodlust will have way less scenes than Fleeting Iris, is there any chance there will be some free roam kind of scenes in the game? They can be tied into the main plot of the game, of course, just not the routes, so to speak. For example, a rumor about the drugs being distributed during a school party, with the opportunity for some cosplay, perhaps, which fit the ultimate goal of the game, but could still be optional.
So obviously the canonic route is the one where the characters actually don't have sex and they don't get corrupted. However, in the route where that doesn't happen, yes, that's the whole point of Lancy Chronicles. You will 100% see that. You will see IMA cameos, and basically every time the drugs were distributed at the school party, every time the drugs were distributed at the spa where they release like these gas and whatever, you're going to see all of this tied up. Like when Ayame and Chloe infiltrate the base, the base at behind the red light district, you're going to realize that one of the reasons why the base is so poorly defended is because Evelyn and Jazz are assaulting the base from another point.
Yeah.
So definitely there's a lot of There's going to
There's
be
gonna
a lot of cameos from characters from future games in them and IAME. There's definitely going to be a lot of costumes, and there's going to be a lot of blackmail and corruption involved
right,
in the game.
and then a lot of like free roam. There's gonna be some free roam elements.
Not as much as
Fleeting Iris?
there's going to be a few, but nowhere near the scope of Fleeting Iris, because let's be honest, like, what game has the type of scope that Fleeting Iris has? I mean,
Not a lot.
we know what we create. We
Not a
know
lot.
we know what we created. Like that's with the team size that we have, it's kind of unfeasible. Obviously, some characters have like some main antagonists. Like for Evelyn scenarios, the school principal is one of the big antagonists. Another one where you have most of the main anti-scenes is one of the informers. For
Right.
Jazz, you might remember the guy from the 3 scenes that he has sex against the window on the city exit. Basically, that guy Brett is going to be one of the main antagonists from Jazz, and another one is going to be like she's going to move in with basically a couple, and one of the antagonists is going to be the boyfriend. So that those are the main antagonists. However, we are going to see the oboes. We are going to see the guys from the gym again. We are going to see the black guys from the beach again. There will be some students that will be antagonists for Evelyn. So there's definitely room for free roam scenes, and there's room to incorporate those in the story. For instance, they are going to infiltrate the Kinky Kittens, try to figure out what's going on there, but they're going to infiltrate the strippers. So
Right.
obviously we're going to see them with the bunny costumes and whatnot, and obviously that's going to lead to possible anti scenes. But there's definitely going to be a lot of cameos and a lot of disguising, and so
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. And for me, my question would be like in future releases, how big of a role will Ame and Robert play in the overall scheme? Like,
The-
are they gonna have a big roles at all, or are they just gonna be like, not? They're just gonna be cameos. That's really it.
Overall, I feel like well, the way the game happens, it's kind of like none of the characters had a big impact at all, because there's going to be a bad ending which leads to the zombie apocalypse, which leads to the fourth game. However, that's not the point, because okay, a lot of people know this, but a lot of people don't know this. We have a fifth game which hasn't been announced, so to speak, which is basically a game where all the main characters from previous games get together to save the world. So basically, you will have a cast of literally all the main characters, all the 5 girls. Like, you're gonna have a cast with Ayame, Luna, Jazz, Eve, and Melissa. And basically, you're going to you will have seen the story of them, what lead them to that point, and you will understand why the things happened the way that they happened. And basically, then it's up to them to save the world and find a way to fix what happened. But Ayame is probably, until that point, one of the least important characters in terms of the development. Robert is somehow important, but some of the characters that Ayame meets you're going to be seeing them later down the road, and what happened to them, which is kind of I feel like it's very very entertaining. Like, Ralph is going to be super important in the fourth game. Scott will also appear there. So you will definitely see other characters that you meet through Ayame, right? And that you get to know through Ayame's game. But in terms of plot, they kind of, like, all of them fail. Like, the most important character for the plot in this sense is probably Luna, which is the girl from the third game, which she in a sense helps trigger the zombie apocalypse by trying to fix things. But
Wow.
you will see that the other characters, they will try their best to stop it, and they will get increasingly more involved on what creates the apocalypse. And then in the fourth game, they all get together, and you see them basically canonically save the world.
Awesome. And I've always enjoyed those sort of plots where you play a game and you, as a hero, typically you win. But there's some games that I find way more interesting when you actually fail, and you don't realize it until you beat the game. Like, a key example is I don't know if you ever played it. Kingdom Hearts, Birth by Sleep.
No.
That's a game where, okay, well,
I played Kingdom Hearts 1, but it kind of feels like you're telling me the story of that Will Smith movie, where in the end there's two outcomes, and in one of them there's an ending where he dies, and in the other one there's an ending where he doesn't die, and the ending where he dies is a lot more fulfilling.
yeah, well, it's just like there's something about like you failed. Like it's just so human about it because in the real world, you're not always gonna win. You're gonna lose, and it's like,
But that's a conundrum because at the end of the day, like, isn't that enough of that in the real world? So why can't you get like an happy ending at the end of a story? Like, oh, okay, oof, everything is bad in the real world, but in the end of the story, yay! So I would say if you watch World War Z, the movie, obviously it's like, okay, now we need to fight back and get our world back from the zombies, whatever. We need to fight, but humanity lives to see another day. And I feel like at the end of the all the games, it's going to be kind of like that. It's going to be bittersweet. Like, we won, but at what cost?
yeah, yeah. And don't get me wrong, I don't despise happy endings. You've heard that some of my favorite endings in Fleeting.
No,
Hours
I
are
get it.
happy ones.
But I
It's
also
just,
I also feel like at least for stories, I feel better when there's some sort of like catharsis or a happy ending, because there's enough sadness as it is in the real world. Sometimes you just want some wholesomeness at the end.
Yeah, very true, very true. That's and
And for everyone else, there's multiple endings.
yeah, I know, right? It's funny how you said that. You're like, oh, I love wholesome, happy endings, and then you play Feeding Iris, and some of those endings are kind of not that.
They're brutal as fuck. Yes.
At least for some characters. For some.
No,
characters.
some are brutal as shit, bro. Like the one where I ends up in the slums and whatnot. And
dude, I'm like, holy fuck.
that's
so
brutal.
bad.
Yeah, that's fucking brutal.
After experiencing that, I had to go replay the hero route or the purity route because I was like, ending, ending, please.
Yeah, that was a true ending. Actually, Ayame is one of the most wholesome stories at the end of the whole Odyssey Chronicles.
That's good. I like Ame as a character.
I like her too. I feel really bad about the shit that I put her through sometimes.
Hey man, it's a game.
I know. I know.
I keep reminding myself that because, because I always get invested. I'm like, yeah, we're gonna do this, and then stuff happens. I'm like, oh.
And now you know why the BDSM suit in other shit doesn't get used more often.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, that's it for the main. That's pretty much it for the most of the interview. If there's anything else you want to add.
No, honestly, I just hope that people enjoyed it.
I hope so too. I hope I did a good job. I'm probably gonna rewatch this and be like, oh man, there's 20 different things I should have asked, but that didn't come to mind.
We can always do an interview at a later date.
Yeah, exactly, dude. I'd love to. And now that I learned how to stream on Discord, I'd love to stream the actual game of Fleeting Iris and have you along and do proper commentary.
We can definitely do that. I just have the problem right now where I can only spend 4 times in front of screens right now a day. But obviously I'm going to use most of that to work on the games. But we can definitely schedule a game a day where we can definitely play Fleeting Iris, and I can give developer comment on Discord.
How's about similar time next Friday?
Yeah, I can try. I can definitely try.
Yeah, we can try that. But that being said, there is just one thing we gotta ask.
Nope.
And that is, hey, no, hear me out. How are things looking over there? Is things working fine? Is everything going to plan?
I would say 99%. Like we got to a point where we just sacrificed so much of our sanity and our health to be able to put things on a certain speed, and we were like, listen, not only we are not doing good to ourselves, we will not be able to work on 3 more games if we keep up at this pace where we just as we will also not be putting out our best work. And if we keep doing that, if we keep just focusing on deadlines, not only we are going to burn out really fast, as we're also going to miss a lot of stuff. Like the same way when I look at Fleeting Arrows, I was like, oh man, I could have done a million different things in a million different ways, better ones. And right now, the way we are doing stuff, I definitely feel like when I look at the end of the things that I created, I'm like, I am proud of what I did, and I wouldn't change a thing. Could I have done it better? Possibly. Do I care? No. Good enough. It's good enough. Like, could I have improved a little bit here and there? Sure. But I am proud of what I did. Is it perfect? No. I'm human. Who cares? But I'm really proud of what I did. And when I look at it, I'm like, I don't see any flaws in it in terms of like, oh, bugs or whatever. I supervised every little detail, which I didn't do in Fleeting Iris. I was like, I need to trust people to do their parts, whatever. When it came to Fleeting Iris, I supervised every little detail. When it came to the Shota patch, when it came to the Christmas patch, I have been supervising every little detail. We haven't compromised at all on the quality, on this scene could look better, it doesn't, or this animation could have looked better, it doesn't, or the maps, or the soundtracks, or whatever it is. We haven't compromised in quality absolutely at all. So I'm 100% happy on where we are right now. I don't know when we'll be able to release it, but we make incredible progress every day. And yeah, I'm 100% sure it's going to be worth the wait, and you guys are going to love the hours of gameplay and fun that you guys are going to have.
Yeah, dude, that's all I wanted to ask. Like, of course, you know, because listen, man, it's been asked 1,000 times. Release date, release date, release date. And you just said, look, guys, it's coming. Okay? Just trust me. Just have faith in me. Like I'm having faith in my team. Just have a little faith in me. It's coming. And we have
delivered for 10 years. I guess at some point, people need to give us some credit and just believe in us just a little bit.
Yeah, I feel like you've earned that. You genuinely earned that. Like, look, we've put out a game that's full of stuff for you to explore and test out. Trust me, by the time you're done with that, I don't want to guarantee it, but there's a good chance Shota patch will be out, and you're gonna play it and you'll be like, wow, it's like night and day.
I 100% feel it. I 100% feel that. Like I no longer feel. At some point, I was just trying to put more content out because I felt imposter syndrome. Like, why am I here? Like, what is what I'm doing good enough? Sometimes I feel like I'm cheating myself, and I was, because I was like working so fast that I felt like this is not my best work. This is not, you know what I mean? We don't feel that now. We don't feel imposter syndrome at all. We have been delivering a game that is as big as like 5 games, if not more, for the past 10 years. People know our body of work. People know our work ethic. And those who don't, you know, good luck in your future endeavors. Yeah. Wherever you go support someone else. But we are not going to stress ourselves over release dates or over this or over that. We're going to be like, listen, we're going to keep working on what we're doing, and we're going to release our work, and we are not ashamed of what we have accomplished. We are not like those developers that say, oh man, developing is this so hard, and after a year they release you a patch with like 10 minutes of gameplay.
Right.
We are releasing 2 full games. 2 full games. We are proud of what we're making. We are proud of what we're releasing. These games are made with original art, not DAS 3D. These games have original soundtracks, original maps, original assets, voice acting, animated. The whole Christmas patch is animated. Like, when people can't evaluate our work, look at it and evaluate our work, it's like, listen, that's on you. We know how much work is into this, and we know any serious developer can tell how much work we put into this.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, you go out and you buy a $20 game, and shit's not even like 2 hours long, and people feel satisfied with that.
Yeah.
Fucking Fleeting Iris is well, you have to pay for it. It's not even. It doesn't cost $20. I know for a fucking fact it doesn't cost $20.
It's $13.99.
Yeah, and then you're getting 2 standalone DLCs that come with, as you said, hours of quality gameplay for free. All you gotta do is just wait.
I haven't met
That's all I can
anyone.
do.
I haven't met anyone that didn't take days to finish Fleeting Iris. Like literal
No,
days.
no. It took me a fucking month, and I had a guide, and I had a fucking guide with me. I couldn't imagine doing this shit blind. I couldn't.
Yeah,
But
I guess getting all the scenes, it will be kind of quite complicated to get
plus,
blind.
with my schedule, it's kind of hard to play games, honestly, with my schedule. But
when,
yeah, no.
when people realized how many dialogue lines and how many words were in Fleeting Iris, people were like, that's not possible. Like, you did not write all this. I did.
Yeah.
Not only I wrote all that, I rewrote a lot of that.
Yeah, a lot of re-edits, lots of re-edits, and then guess what? You get to do it all over again when the remake happens.
Yay!
Yeah,
Looking so
But
much
no.
forward to it.
but I don't. Yeah, so that's all I wanted to ask about the patches. Just, is it going okay? Sounds like it is. And I'll say this.
Oh, it
I'll
is.
say
We're
this.
super proud of it.
And I'll say this: this patch is for true fucking fans who have patiently waited, and they're gonna enjoy it. I feel like that's what this is. This is a testament of, if you're a good fan, you would be like, I'm just gonna wait. You know what I mean?
And if you're not,
And
sucks
if
to
you
be you.
can't
Live
wait-
stuff wearing an helmet.
And if you can't wait, well then sucks to be you, but you're gonna have to.
They're going to complain and play it anyway.
Of course, that's what people are.
So
but
I'm not forcing anyone to, and I'm not forcing anyone to support us. If you feel like you want to support us and you feel like we're putting in enough work and we're trying really hard to do quality content, and you want to support us and to keep making games, because at the end of the day, if people don't support us, we cannot keep working for free. But if you want to support us into making games, and if you want to see more of our team in the future, support us. If you don't, if you're going to be like, why aren't you releasing content at the same pace as whatever creator? I don't know. Maybe because his shit is garbage and ours isn't. I don't know. What do you want me to tell you? In most cases, it's going to be that. In other cases, some people have like unrealistic work ethics that we cannot keep up with, especially with the quality that we need and the time that we need. So we. Like, if you want to judge us by the amount of work and the quality that we put out, thank you so much. Come aboard. We really enjoy having you around. If you're going to spend money and then instantly regret it, or feel like we should work by your standards instead of our standards, then don't support us. Like, do you? We are proud of what we are doing. We are proud of what we achieved, and we are even more proud of what we are working towards. And fuck, it's so good, bro. Like, trust me, it's so good. I like it as a developer. If I was a fan and playing it blind, I will be so fucking happy. It will literally be Christmas. I will be like a fucking child in Christmas.
it's Christmas. Oh, really? The Christmas patch is Christmas? I had no idea.
It's so good. The animations are so good. The animators did such a great
I believe it, man.
a
I
great
believe
job. Muku and Tiger Lila did an amazing job with the drawings, the soundtrack, the maps, the scenarios, the story. It's so funny. It's so wholesome. I think everybody's gonna fucking love it. Like, legitimately get like an heartwarm feeling at the end of it. So
Yeah, dude, I can't express how excited I am. And I know it's just right around the corner too. That's the thing. It's right around the corner. At least that's what I'm telling myself. But yeah,
no,
I guess-
it is like Isaac having to have a second job right now is definitely being detrimental to how fast we can work and how many times we can work together. Me being limited to 4 hours of screen time a day because of my eyes also being extremely detrimental, but it is just around the corner. And without making any
promises.
No. I'm not gonna give a date, but we didn't make any compromise when making this. Like, zero. We were not like, dude, we need to release this by. We haven't. So when we release this, you can be 100% sure we felt like this is the best we can release from with the time that we have, that time that we spend and whatnot. We are extremely proud of what we're working on.
Awesome. Awesome. And with that being said, guys, I think that's going to be the end of the interview. That's because that's all I got.
Yeah, if people
nothing
had more
much to
questions,
say.
they could have,
Nothing much more to say. I mean,
No,
well,
yeah,
thank you.
I feel like if people had questions, they could have, they could have gave it for you to ask
Yeah,
me.
they could have told me, but I guess everyone has had their answers questioned, or yeah, had their
The
questions
podcast
answered.
helps.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. But anyway, Stark, thank you so much for your time, man. I wish you and your team the best. In
I
developing
appreciate
these
you, Sonny.
games. And thank you again, really, for letting me interview you. It was
my pleasure.
An honor. It was an honor. And if there's more questions that come to mind when playing the games, and I feel like, hey, you know what, maybe we can do a second interview. I'll definitely hit you up, man.
Okay.
And hopefully we can do it again.
Sure, I'll be
But
up
with
to
that
it.
being said, final things to say. Be patient, everyone. Please be patient. That patch, I'm telling you, it's gonna be worth it. It's gonna be worth it. Just a little longer. We got this. There's plenty of other games to play. Until then.
Yeah, this has definitely been one of the best games for anti out there. Definitely, I can.
Yeah. I would say, like, out of like this and Summertime Saga have been definitely some of the best games I played in
Man,
terms of.
I need to try that
games.
game. I need to try that game.
Oh, Summertime.
People keep.
I would say. I would say that is the closest thing to Fleeting Iris.
Okay, I need to try
Summertime
that.
Saga.
I mean,
of course,
they have like 60 times our budget, but yes.
Yeah, I wish they. Well, okay. To be fair, it is a pretty amazing game, and it's pretty ambitious as well. But again,
Good thing
I think Fleeting
at
Iris-
least it's not like other developers that are making bank and just defrauding people's expectations left and right.
Yeah, yeah. But with that being said, I think that's it. That's all I got. So
Thanks for the interview,
Alright,
man.
Stark.
I truly enjoyed it.
Thank you. I hope I did a good job, man. I was super nervous.
I think you did. Let's leave it for the audience to decide.
Thank you. Hopefully, I can be the official interview guy. I'm part of the team.
Yay!
Yay!
You're saying that now.
Yeah, I'm saying that now. And I'm the team mascot. I'm the guy that just tells everyone to, when they get rowdy, I go, sure, guys, it's coming. I promise.
You're saying that once you realize how hard we have to work in our team, you're gonna be like, nah, bro, I didn't. It was a poor decision.
I just do the interviews.
I
can be the desk guy. I can be like the receptionist. That's like, I'm sorry, Stark can't see you now. He's he's working on something important. I don't know what it is. He won't tell me, but he's working on something.
Anyway, I'm gonna go to work. It's 3 p.m.
Right. Fun fact: it is Stark's girlfriend's birthday, so happy birthday to her.
Oh, thank you very much. I will be sure to tell her that you sent her birthday.
All right. Yeah, the random guy on the internet says happy birthday.
No, some more of our players wish you a happy birthday. She's gonna be happy to hear that.
Yeah, that's good. Alrighty, well, that being said, I think that's goodbye. So until next time, Stark.
Take care. Appreciate you.
Later.
Bye, everyone at home.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye, everyone who is listening. I hope you enjoyed this interview. All right, later. All
right, everyone at home, take care. I hope you enjoyed the interview. Everyone that is listening to the VOD, I appreciate you so much for listening. If you stick all the way till the end, and I hope most of your questions that you had were answered. If you had the same questions that Sonyian had, let's hope so. So if you don't, just bother him to make another interview and make sure that you give him your questions. So that's all for me for now. I'm gonna go back to work after I grab a quick bite to eat. So take care, everyone. See you guys very soon. Peace out.